The GTA Definitive Trilogy is garbage. At least that's what I used to say. I've made 5 videos listing 505 problems with these 3 games. Well, Rockstar released a massive patch recently fixing the games in many ways. I would like to update these videos one by one and showcase every single fix. Starting with the first video, of course, I'll show you the problem from before and then how it looks currently in-game and how it was fixed. I tested each one out of the 101 problems and they unfortunately fixed only 33. Let's start the showcase. The first problem we had was how in the Definitive Edition the save games did not have dates. You don't know when each one was made, and if many had the same mission name, figuring out which was a nightmare. Well, now as you see, there's a date plus time on each save. There will no longer be any confusion. Jumping over to problem number 6, since remember I'm only mentioning the fixes, the garage sounds used to be broken when the definitives came out. A short sound played which repeated until the garage closed or opened fully. Here it is. Well, now the garages work exactly how they do in the original and they sound absolutely fine. Music to my ears. CJ's big white cock used to be stiff and boring looking. No animation, no movement. It's like it ran out of batteries. Well, now his cock will move all the time up and down, and it will feel more alive just like it did in the original. Oh yeah, and the chicken behind him is also animated. CJ used to drink in a very weird way and reminded me of someone the US seems to adore for some reason. He drank through his nose, it seems like. Finally, CJ learned how to drink like a normal person. I cannot believe this was broken before, but it was. When a vehicle used to be set on fire, it was always a mystery. Very often you could not see it happening since the fire was tiny. Well, now when a vehicle gets set on fire, you can actually see it, since first of all, it's big, and secondly, you know where to expect it from. It used to come out of all sorts of places, but now it's always from the hood and it's giant. All 3 Definitive Editions looked the same in terms of atmosphere. They were all bright, colorful and had the same color palette. This, at least for GTA 3, should not have been the case. Well, now each game has warmer colors, whereas GTA 3's are a bit darker than the rest, as they should be. Vice City really looks like Miami. San Andreas goes a bit overboard on the yellow, but it's better than how it was before. A solid change. Claude used to sink in the ground in front of his safe house. This was bizarre to me since it's a very important area and you're supposed to come here all the time. Having this specific part of the map broken was weird. Well, now this particular spot is fixed and Claude will no longer sink in. I can't believe I'm saying this, guys, but they finally fixed the swimming. In the initial defective editions, the physics were tied to 60 FPS no matter how much you limited them. Swimming at 30, for instance, was the same as when swimming at 144 frames. Well, now no matter what frame rate you swim at, CJ will move very quickly in water. This is a massive improvement and now, unfortunately, I'll miss it when playing at high frame rates in the originals. The music volume slider used to be tied to ambient noises. Things such as waves on the beach, fountains and even the sounds of these people rioting in GTA Vice City. Well guys, good news, these sounds will now play even if your music volume is set to 0. As a YouTuber who has to have the music off at all times, this is a very welcome fix. In the mission Wear Flowers in Your Hair, many of the cutscenes you could not skip, and since the mission has many of them, it always used to be a drag. Well, I'm very happy to report that the cutscenes are now skippable, which will make speedrunners very happy. Alright, so here's a weird one. The chainsaw sound used to be fine in the original. Then they broke them in the definitive. And now, in the newest version, they didn't really fix them, but they changed them to something better. See? This soundbite is longer, so it doesn't repeat as often. It's still broken, sure, but it's improved. The draw distance used to be massive in older games. This was fine for Vice City for instance, but San Andreas always felt off. Even after the previous updates where they added a tiny fog, it still felt a little off. Well, now the fog looks proper. It's like I'm playing the original, but I do prefer how it looks right now over how it looked in the initial releases. This particular road in the countryside was so messed up before. I mean, look at this! There was a gap where you could just fall into the void if you had a bike. Well, now this hole is literally patched up and CJ can no longer fall in. Awesome! The definitive rotor blades lost the original blur they had from back in the day. In the initial definitive edition they looked very wonky. Now the blur is back and they blend in very nicely. Shadows used to annoy me a lot. They used to jump around every few seconds. It was never a fluid motion. Well, look at them now, as fluid as your movement towards the like button on the video. This is so smooth, I love it. Take a look at the Starfish Island map. On the right side of it, the connections were very off. It felt very poorly stitched together. And now look at it. It's normal again, just like it did in the original. Animations used to be broken before. CJ riding a bike was hilarious. Look at my boy now, dude, he got some surgery done and doesn't look like a mutant anymore. In Vice City, looking at a distance was not something you wanted to do. It all felt ugly and disgusting. If you do it in the newest update, it's still ugly, sure, but since we have fog now, it's not as egregious. The terrain is still broken, but you probably won't notice it unless you look for it. This used to be the most hilarious plank in the game. Is it really here? Of course it's not. It did not exist. Well, now it does. No idea why it was removed before. I mean, how are they expecting me to board a ship? I had to get a chopper. This was stupid. The Parallax interiors got an upgrade. While most of them stayed the same, do you see this one from before? Places like this are now changed to more accurately represent what's inside. The oil refinery used to be on strike or something because none of the machinery used to work before. No animation was present. Well, now it's all back in working order as it's supposed to. A sandstorm was such an ugly occurrence. There wasn't even a storm. The buildings just got painted over. Now the storm looks and feels exactly like a storm. There's less visibility, buildings look normal, and your flight controls are affected. It's perfect. I have no idea why, but the armor option in animation used to be treated as a pickup, not as a display. It used to spin in place, but it was still hanging on a wall. This is no longer the case, it's stationary and finally fits up there. Waves used to make me laugh out loud. CJ was floating every chance he got. A wave could push him up and he would not fall down. Look at this crap. Well, now his body floats on the water itself. Gone are the hilarious moments, but hey, it's a fix and I welcome it. In this restaurant, a new fan was added above the pool table. I get the intention since yes, it does look nicer. The problem was if you actually played pool. Changing the camera angle completely blocked off the table and you could not see it. Well, now it's gone again. It used to be dangerous there anyway, so I'm happy it's gone. And the biggest and best update in this whole patch is the jetpack. The jetpack was ultra broken. To go up, you had to use the left mouse button. The right one to go down. Well, guess what you had to use to shoot and aim? The same buttons. This made shooting accurately while flying impossible. Well, now guys, both keys are rebindable, meaning that you can fly almost the exact same way as you can in the originals. Why almost? Well, because the camera still fights with you if you look around while not aiming, but holy crap, dude, it's finally usable again. I'll not trash talk this garbage edition as much anymore. Seriously, great fix. The minigun pickup was missing its cannon for some reason. Well, it's back now. Weird. Mutant CJ used to puke out of his nose. I guess it's from all the nose drinking. Disgusting. It's less gross now since he uses his mouth to puke. The massive Las Venturas hangar was broken since when it opened, the door did not visibly move. This meant that when fully opened, it still looked closed and you could go through. Now the door is animated and properly textured. This did not need to break, it worked perfectly fine in the OG. In this particular spot in GTA 3 the fans used to send Claude flying if he got too close. These fans finally calmed down in the newest patch and Claude can cruise around with no worries. The Twitter gas station had a broken logo. It did not move at all. Well, now it does, and it will not look awkward anymore in the introduction mission of San Fierro. In a Catalina mission, a certain door used to break way before Catalina was supposed to interact with it, making her shoot at nothing and soft lock the game. Well, this door no longer breaks before it's supposed to, and you never get stuck again. And the final fix from this video involves the helicopter in GTA 3. It used to have a broken collision. On one side of it you grind it in the air, on the other side you sank into a chopper. Well, now the collision is proper, you still can't fly it, but that's okay. Honestly guys, 33 out of 101 problems is not that bad. The games are massively improved to me, and while I still don't recommend them, I can still appreciate the work which went into this patch. I still have 4 more videos to cover. If this video does well, I might continue, so leave a like if you wanna see more. Thank you for watching, and a special thank you to Ola Velikanen, Case Nice, Sean Pasca, Faith, Munish Puri, Pahish Sash, Chishinte, Bad Boy Hero, Jebediah, Redux, Versetti Gwen, Jim Francescos, and everybody else.